Folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and as you might be able to tell, this week we're continuing our look back at the great Halloween franchise. And this week we are taking a look back at the third entry, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, starring Tom Atkins, Stacey Nelkin, and Dan Herlihy. Now, for the third film in the series, we still have John Carpenter and Deborah Hill involved as producers, so they're still very much involved in the series at this point. And Tommy Lee Wallace, this time, is the director, who was also heavily involved in the original Halloween film from 1978. And we also have Dean Cundy returning as director of photography. There's even a little cameo by Nancy Loomis in the film from the original Halloween. And from Halloween 2, we got Dick Warlock, who plays a role in this film as well. So there's a lot of elements still left over from the original two films here. Now, what isn't present in this film is Michael Myers. And that divides a lot of the fans. A lot of people hate it for that reason. And rightfully so. We followed this character through two classic films. And now all of a sudden he's gone, he's out of the picture, and there's a totally different story going on. Now what happened was John Carpenter wanted to start a new type of series. And they still wanted to use the Halloween name, but they wanted to make it more of an anthology series with different stories in each film. Kind of like a Twilight Zone type thing, or a Tales from the Dark Side type thing. And so in this film, that's what we get. We get a different Halloween-themed story. And the theme of the story is basically people are dying in town, this small town called Santa Mira. And this guy, Connell Cochran, who almost practically runs the town for reasons unknown. Well, all we really know is that he owns this warehouse called Silver Shamrock Novelties. And they produce, joke toys and lots of novelty items. And he also makes these Halloween masks for little kids to wear on Halloween. And he also does these commercials on TV. You see the commercials for the Silver Shamrock masks. And telling the kids to be sure you, on Halloween night, you tune in and watch the Horror-thon, where they show the original Halloween film. We're doing the big giveaway at 9 o'clock, so kids, wear your masks. Be sure to wear your masks and tune in at 9 o'clock. Where we do the big giveaway. And then the commercials look kind of funny. They have this theme song that gets drilled in your brain. So each day we see as the movie goes along, one more day till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. And it keeps counting it down, and the song gets in your brain. That's another reason people don't like the movie too, because that theme song really gets in your head. But there's a lot of fun to be had in this movie, and one of the biggest reasons to see the film is this guy Dan Herlihy, who plays Connell Cochran, the owner of Silver Shamrock Novelties. There's something about him. He gives a great performance. He's a great villain, I think, and he just has an element of real creepiness about him. Something about him. He comes off at first as a real nice guy, a lovable kind of fun guy, but you can sense underneath there's an evil malevolence going on in the back of his mind. And we find out as the movie goes on, as Tom Atkins, who stars in the film, plays Dr. Dan Chalice, who comes into the picture because this man was killed was brutally murdered by these men in suits. They look like henchmen or something. We don't know what's going on with them. And as the plot thickens, Dr. Dan Chalice and the daughter of the man that got murdered, Stacey Nelkin, uh, the police aren't helping her because they all love this guy from Silver Shamrock Novelties, but we find out that he's involved in it somehow. He has to be. So they start looking into the background of this Silver Shamrock Novelties, and they kind of sneak into the warehouse and try and find out what's going on. And they also arrange a meeting with Connell Cochran, and it doesn't go so well because as the meeting goes forward, they put Dr. Dan in this room and Stacey Nelkin, and they have them view this video of this man who works for Silver Shamrock, and his wife and kids are in this room. And they watch the Silver Shamrock, the kids watch the Silver Shamrock commercials, and they put on their Halloween masks. And bingo, something goes off in the Halloween masks, or something that makes them go crazy, and the kids start going crazy, start losing their minds, and it looks almost like their heads are exploding inside these masks, or something's going on, and they fall to their death, and you see all these cockroaches and worms and all kinds of insects and shit come out of their heads. It's gross. It's nasty. It's pretty nasty effects there. Also, the masks are really cool looking, I must say. The witch and the pumpkin and the Frankenstein monster. They're really cool looking masks. I don't know if they're available in stores, but they're pretty neat thing if they did. They're pretty cool looking masks. Another thing about this film, it has a great score, is much like the original first two films, and that's because John Carpenter and Al Harworth also work on the score in this film. It's definitely a Halloween feel type of score to it. So that's kind of the funny thing about this film, is it feels very much like a Halloween franchise film, but yet there's no Michael Myers. So it's kind of strange, but if you can get past all that, there's a lot of fun to be had in the film. It's a fun horror movie in general. So if you can get past the fact that it doesn't have Michael Myers, you can still enjoy it, and a lot of people do. Over the years, it's become a cult favorite. Yeah, there still are the haters, and at first I did hate it too, because I love Michael Myers. I love that storyline and everything, but over the years I've gotten to enjoy it after seeing it like on basic cable, like the AMC channel. Sometimes they show it every Halloween. Now I'd watch it every year. I'd find myself watching it every year, and I kind of get into it. And you probably will too, or maybe you won't, but just giving you my 2 cents. But one of the great things about the movie is Dan Herlihy's performance, so that's key. He makes a great villain. Especially I love when he says, "Happy Halloween." There's something about the way he says that, the way he delivers that line. It's just like so evil and so malicious intent behind it. And he has a powerful stare. He's an intense guy, and I love his performance. And Tom Atkins is a lot of fun. A little bit campy, and there's definitely some campy elements to the film, and probably Tom Atkins is definitely part of that. Like, I don't think he's very believable as a doctor. You don't hear much medical terminology coming out of his mouth. So, as a doctor, he's not very believable, but he's kind of fun because he does have that kind of cool, he has a cool aura about him, much like Clint Eastwood or Charles Bronson, that old school tough guy type of thing. That's what he brings to the role. And everyone else in the film is, decent. There's no, those are the only standout performances, I would say. It's kind of cool to see Nancy Loomis make an appearance there as Dr. Dan Chalice's wife, or ex-wife, or we're not really sure. We know that Tom Atkins' character fools around with this young daughter of the man that got killed in the beginning, So whether he's still married or not, I don't know. But he definitely fools around with this young 20-something-year-old girl, and he's like in his 40s, 50, maybe even 50. But with that being said, Halloween 3 is still an enjoyable film if you can get past the fact that there's no Michael Myers in it. So I would give it probably 1.5 devil horns up. So it's still a lot of fun, but it's not part of the franchise, really. There are various elements that do make it part of the Halloween franchise, such as the fact that John Carpenter is involved and various players from the original films make it part of the Halloween franchise, and it has that Halloween feel, and it's got a nice feel of the Halloween season in general to it, so that's cool too. And I love the great masks that the kids wear. It's really cool. And there's some cool pretty graphic gory scenes, you know. And it's pretty cool overall. It's a pretty cool movie. I like it. I enjoy it, and it's a nice little addition to the franchise, even though it's kind of the black sheep. A lot of the horror franchises kind of have that one black sheep movie that doesn't really have anything to do with the other ones, like Friday the 13th Part 5, or, you know, movies like that. The Halloween 3 is definitely the black sheep of the Halloween franchise, but it's still a nice little addition, I'd say. I wouldn't say it's one of the best entries, but it's definitely enjoyable. So thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.